All right, the last thing we're going to cover in this section is comments. We use comments to clarify our code and to make it easier to understand. As I told you before, comments don't get compiled. Now in C++, we have a couple of different ways for writing comments. We can start with 2 forward slashes, and whatever we type in front of these slashes will be considered a comment. Now we can add the slashes above a line or in front of it. Either way works. But as you can see here, we have limited space because we're basically bound to what is left here. Of course, we can write a longer comment, but then we'll have to constantly scroll to the left and to the right to see what is going on. So it's more conventional to write the comment above a line. Now, if you want to have multiple lines, again, we can start a new line of comment like this, okay? Now in C++, we have another way for writing a multi-line comment. Instead of 2 forward slashes, we start with a forward slash and an asterisk, and then press enter. Now CLine automatically generates this block of comment. These 2 characters represent the beginning of the block, and these 2 characters represent the end of the comment block. What we put in between will be considered a multi-line comment. Now different teams have different preferences in terms of which style of comments should be used. So there is really no right or wrong here. Just pick one style and stick to it. Now, one thing I want to emphasize about comments is that you should not overuse them because they make your code harder to understand and maintain. So you should use comments only to explain whys and hows, not whats. Let me show you what I mean. So here I can write a comment and say, declare a variable and initialize it to 0. Well, it is obvious that that's what we're doing on the next line. So this comment is completely unnecessary and it's making our code a little bit verbose. We don't want to sprinkle our code with all these kinds of unnecessary comments. Instead, we should use comments to explain whys and hows. If we made certain assumptions while writing this code, we should comment those assumptions so in the future, when we come back, we see why we did things in a certain way, okay? So that's all about comments, and that brings us to the end of this section. So I will see you in the next section.